Inside the Mexican Killer Clown Cartel. There is a cartel called the Mexican Killer Clown Cartel, and recently they released a video of what they usually do to rival gang members. Now you may ask, what could a bunch of nasty-looking clowns do to a fully grown man? Well, for a start, they skinned him alive, and as the man was dying from pain, his quivering body was placed face down on the ground, with the clowns forming a circle around him and taking turns mocking him. To a man who just got his face ripped apart, the clowns kept asking if he wanted any water. So, have you grasped the level of brutality practiced by these so-called clowns? Many humans develop an uncanny fear of clowns because of their odd looks or way of walking. Have you ever been afraid of clowns? Well, if you haven't been, you surely will be after this video, and if you already had some terror of these creatures, then I'm afraid it will only get worse. Before we begin, hit the subscribe button. In the poverty-ridden Mexican rural areas, a child was born in July 1966. Half a century later, this boy would be the mastermind behind what could be Mexico's most ruthless cartel ever that is on the brink of being labeled as a terrorist organization. He was Nemesio Osegura Cervantes, now infamous in the Mexican backwaters as El Mencho. He hailed from a very low-income family of avocado farmers and eventually shifted to the U.S. in the 1980s, hoping to lead a better life. However, his baser instincts proved to be a major hindrance for him while living in the United States, as he got himself embroiled in multiple petty crimes across several districts. It was this negative criminal record that got him deported back for committing too many minor crimes. Perhaps if he had stayed back in the U.S., things would have gone much better for several innocent people in Mexico and the U.S. Soon after El Mencho returned to his homeland, he began searching for a lucrative way of earning money, and in the Mexican rural areas, that eventually means joining a cartel. In the cartels, violence translates into quick cash. His beginning as a cartel member began with the Milenio Cartel, though his stint was short-lived. The Milenio Cartel was plagued with multiple problems and factionalism, culminating in their complete decimation. While this meant one cartel less, on the flip side it gave rise to several smaller fragments that vied for control over the trafficking routes. El Mencho decided to start his cartel and came up with the name Los Torcidos, or the Twisted Ones, in 2007 for his comparatively small group of fighters. About a decade later, the dainty little cartel was known as the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, or the Mexican Killer Clown Cartel. The Mexican government has described its influence and terror as the single most dangerous cartel responsible for most deaths across the American border. They demonstrated their ability to combat the authorities by shooting down a military helicopter with a rocket-propelled launcher in one brazen attempt. All of this compelled the DEA to announce prize money of $10 million for any information leading to the arrest of El Mencho, the gang boss. El Mencho is believed to have been inspired by the structure and code of conduct of the Los Zetas cartel. The part of Los Zetas that had impressed him the most was their highly armed structure, and he decided to caricature that, except bringing the copy to a whole new level of firepower. El Mencho bought assault rifles, grenade launchers, and tanks to arm his loyal foot soldiers. In July, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel released footage that infused terror in the hearts of every police officer and Mexican citizen. The video showed the elite group armed to the teeth with military-grade assault rifles, machine guns, grenade launchers, and their prized possession, a .50 caliber American sniper rifle. The latter is considered among the most powerful sniper rifles ever produced globally. The video ended with the people pledging their support for El Mencho and the cartel. What do these violent cartel members do? Their antics range from kidnappings to extortion and resorting to horrible torture of anyone who dares stand against them. They love to display their power and brutality to anyone they feel is the best suited subject. Now, we have seen the workforce and the armaments at the disposal of the Jalisco New Generation, but what made them adopt the sinister name of the Mexican Killer Clown Cartel? Enter Fabian Urbino Morales, infamous as El Payaso, or the Clown. Ironically, Morales used to perform as a clown in the circus to support himself as a child, yet somewhere down the road, the clown meant to entertain people began a downward spiral. He now uses guns, machetes, and knives for his tricks, which do not involve making his subject or the victim laugh. His life as a cartel member began with the Los Metros cartel, a splinter group of the Gulf cartel whose dominion was in Reynosa near Texas. Was he brutal? By the time he got El Mencho's eye, he had just beaten and burned the bodies of some rival cartel members in a gasoline drum. Judge for yourself. The rise of the Jalisco New Generation to become the second largest cartel in Mexico was because of their dynamic recruitment policies. What would you do if you wanted to control a cartel consisting of violent people? Well, you could do it by recruiting people who can be the commanders of these people. For the role of these leaders, El Mencho decided to rope in some of the most violent and borderline psychopathic personalities under the banner. This mass recruitment program attracted several people from rival gangs who lacked a strong management system like the Los Metros cartel, which they completely absorbed. El Mencho was highly pleased with the brutality of El Payaso and decided to make him his right-hand man and was appointed as the commander of one of CJNG's regions. This began a new sadistic chapter in the life of El Payaso. Since 2010, the rapid expansion of internet services across the globe, including Mexico, meant that these cartels had stumbled upon an easier way of spreading terror. But why do these cartels need terror? Well, these criminal organizations are based on fear in people's minds. This allows them to control the people and even the politicians who come down from their pedestal to negotiate with them. Recently, the Jalisco cartel has begun uploading gruesome videos of the worst forms of torture humankind has ever seen. In a new video, El Payaso is seen traveling in a car while wearing a disturbing clown mask and brandishing assault rifles and guns. Oh, and did I tell you that he groaned to the music? What do you think about these killer clowns who drive in broad daylight while brandishing weapons? Please tell us your thoughts in the comments section and let us know. And hit that subscribe button. Now you might want to ask, if these guys are walking around with military-grade rifles in broad daylight, why are they not behind bars? What are the police doing? Well, for that, you have to imagine the life of a common Mexican police officer. You have a uniform, and if you're clever enough, there's also a bulletproof vest under that uniform and a gun for enforcing control. The problem? Well, you're up against some psychopaths who've skinned a human being alive and are armed with weapons designed by the US to be used in a 21st century war, not crowd control. Tough luck, huh? While through their brutality, the cartels have also begun exercising a huge control over Mexican politics. Things have started to change. Many innocent lives are yet to be lost, it seems. That's all for this video. Hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.